Thank you for coming and welcome to Career Conversations. This particular event is for parents of high school students, mostly juniors and seniors that are getting ready to make that all important step of graduating and moving out into the workforce. We've got several speakers here today that are going to be sharing their screens probably and doing some talking, and I'd like to introduce those people. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sheila Blair, and I'm the manager of the Align Center for Workforce Development. In Lenawee County, that is where adults might go if they want to re-enter the workforce. Maybe they need to upgrade. Companies can also come to us and say, hey, we need a training for our employees, and we can find, whoever in the community is doing that training is sort of like a clearinghouse. Sometimes the training might be at the tech center. Sometimes it might be at CSI. Sometimes it might be on site at the company location. So we will try to accommodate that. But we're also doing some work that you'll hear about with the school districts as well, and you'll hear about that tonight. The next person I'd like to introduce is Kelly McNichol. She's our career education navigator at Align, and she works with the schools, teachers, counselors, and students, helping to give them a different career exposures, like tours to, a local employer, bringing in a local expert into the classroom to talk to students about, his or her career. She helps with a pen pal program so that younger students can write to a person who's in the career that they might be interested in doing. So she's going to tell you all about, what she's doing in the school districts in just a little bit. We also have Ashley Vandenbush. She's the service center manager for Adrian's Michigan Works office. And she's going to be talking to you about what services they offer to pre and post high school graduates. And then lastly, we have Taz Wallace. He's the CEO and founder of TW Consulting, and he'll talk about how you can support your child's dreams and help them reach their greatest potential. So I want to answer a question that might be going through your head already. Why are we doing this Career Conversations event tonight? Well, we want to provide you with some information about the Career Connections event that we're going to hold a month from today on March 22nd at the Siena Heights University Fieldhouse. It's a job fair for students in the morning and community members in the afternoon. We'll also have some mini seminars like for the students, like the ones that are pictured on your screen. And students can also tour the Siena Heights campus as well. Transportation will be provided for your child through their local high school. So, but also parents are invited to come again in the afternoon. We're having adults meeting with employers. So there's a QR code right on your screen. You can scan it with the picture app on your phone, and it'll take you right to the registration. You could register yourself to attend right now. You could register your junior or senior in high school right now if you'd like. And then also, maybe you might be asking, what is Align? It's not a school. It's not a school district. Why do we care? Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier, Align is a workforce development group, and we're building partnerships like the one we have with Michigan Works to create a pipeline of talent in Lenawee. And this includes providing training for adults to upskill and advance themselves, as well as partnering with the LISD to work with students from an early age by providing various career exposure opportunities so they get an idea early on about the things they like doing and don't like doing. It helps them to make decisions about their class loads and their futures. So when we talk about building a talent pipeline, it's not just adults, but truly that's handling, today's issues. Is when we work with adults, that's today's issues, but also we want to make sure that we never fall into this situation that we're in right now with the workforce by cultivating students at a younger age and getting them ready to enter the workforce upon graduation, those that are going into the workforce directly. I also wanted to hold this event because I wanted to share with you that Align is developing a parent advisory group. And we haven't started yet. There's another QR code on your screen. If you'd like to take a picture of that with your camera, you can register to learn more about the parent advisory group. But basically it would help us to understand how to connect with parents more, how to share information with parents, because, you know, that's one of the toughest tasks that we have, is reaching parents and getting them to understand, you know, what are students in need of right now in the workforce. How do we prepare them? How do we help them be successful? How do we reach out to, you know, local employers? How can I connect, you know, your student with an employer? So we'd like to have develop a parent advisory group to help us not only connect with parents, but learn how to communicate that to them and what information works best for them and so forth. So if you're interested, we would love to have you as part of this. Okay, so I would like to turn it over to Kelly McNichol. She's going to talk to you about the objectives of the Career Connections event, which again is March 22nd, and that's the job fair for high school juniors and seniors, and then also adults.
All right, there, I lost you guys for a moment. Got you back. So I'm Kelly McNichol. I'm with Align Lenawee, as Sheila said. Most of the work I do is directly related to the schools. I've introduced myself to all of the school counselors this year and work to figure out how I can best support them and the work that they do with your students. My main role is to really step in and help bring in those employers. If I have a kid that's interested in being an electrician, you know, bringing in an electrician who can have those conversations, maybe let them shadow, you know, work with the school districts that way. Also bringing in HR reps so they can help do some mock interviews, things along that line. We do have amazing events coming up, like Sheila said. So March 22nd, we have our Career Connections event. And our goal is to have 75 employers there, which is triple what we've had in the past. So it's a big goal that we have. We're also going to be offering the ability to have headshots done for any student that would like those done. So I'm really encouraging the counselors to talk to the students, and I'm encouraging parents to talk to students, make sure they have a resume available, make sure that they're dressed and ready for interviews, because we will have interview rooms available for the employers to use that day. If you have students who you feel need help with a resume, if they're a tech center student, please reach out to the ISD and the tech center and let them know that your student really would like some help with that. They have some great staff over there who can help with those things. If they're not a tech student, reach out to their school counselor, or we will put my email address in the chat, and we'll share that with you so that you can email me and let me know what school your child is at and what their name is, and I will reach out to the counselor. In addition to that, I definitely wanted to, you guys again, sorry, my screen keeps kind of going away. In addition to that, we're also going to be having a STEM event that we're working on with the ISD next year. And then this fall, we are hosting, well, ISD is hosting at the Tech Center, but we are working with them to put on an event called Wheels in Motion, or Careers in Motion, where it's careers, anything to do with motion at all. So it's going to be a pretty large event. It's going to be held outside. So we're excited about that. And so definitely watch for those things as well. And I really think that's all I had at this moment, Sheila. Was there anything else?
No, I think that's great. Thank you, Kelly. Now we're going to bring in Michigan Works to talk to you about the services that they have available to your student, your child, pre-graduation and post-graduation. So Ashley, take it away.
Hi, thanks, Sheila. Welcome, everyone. I am Ashley. I'm the Service Center Manager at the Michigan Works office in Adrian. We are located in the Human Services Building. If you're not familiar, I'm going to share my screen and get it into the right mode here. And we'll talk a little bit about the general services that we offer to everyone. And then I will talk about some youth specific programming that we have towards the end. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. We're happy to have you here. We are Michigan Works. A lot of people maybe confuse us with the unemployment agency, but we are a completely separate entity. Michigan Works helps people find employment, get training, career pathways versus unemployment, which kind of helps with the financial piece of when you are laid off. So we are a 5-county region. Michigan Works encompasses Hillsdale, Jackson, Lenawee, Livingston, and Washtenaw. Michigan Works Southeast, that's our region. Our mission, as always, is to develop today's workforce and tomorrow's economy by engaging employers, job seekers, and partners. So this screen talks about all the general services that we offer. We don't charge for any of our services. So anything that you see on here that we have to offer is free to anyone. You don't have to be a resident of Lenawee County. If you live on the border and maybe you're in Brooklyn, maybe, and your kids go to Onstead or something like that, but technically
It looks like we've lost Ashley, but we can move forward because Ashley will probably get back with us and then we can get her back on. Okay. So we can move forward. Let me see if I can get Ashley to stop sharing. Hang on one moment. Okay, so if it's possible, Taz, we can move right to you and we can bring in Ashley later as soon as she gets her technical issues settled. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Thanks, Sheila.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Taz Wallace of TW Consulting, and work with schools in a lot of different capacities. But the one thing that I truly believe is every child should have an opportunity to reach their greatest potential. And what that looks like in terms of finding a career, what does that look like as a parent? Oftentimes is I'm not sure what my kid's interested in. I'm not sure what they want to do. And I think the level of exposure for students as early as possible is critical for their growth, for their motivation, for things that they may be interested in. So how do we do that as parents? Number one, I think, and I want to give practical steps in terms of how a parent can work with their kid outside of school and connect the dots and figure out what their passions are and to help drive those passions through actions. And I think number one is building a roadmap. And what could that look like as a parent? Create a career board and identify some of your child's interests, some of the things that they may be interested in, careers, and lay all of those things out on that board and have an opportunity to review that as they continue to progress. And let's use it, for example, an 8th grader. In 8th grade, the board looked a certain way. As they get into 9th grade, you start to eliminate certain careers. You've identified them. Now we want to educate them on what that looks like in terms of careers and salaries, benefits, all of these things that come with different careers so that they are educated and understand what it is that they may be looking into, and then expose them. And I think that's where Align comes in. You have the opportunity to connect with the Align team to figure out what's out there, how it can benefit your child, and how they can be exposed to whatever environment they're looking to go into. And then the experience, what opportunities are available for kids, the exposure, are there internships? Are there opportunities for kids to And I know this is what Kelly will set up, where they have an opportunity to walk through the company and actually see the work, see the environment. And I think the earlier that we can have these young people exposed to these environments, especially, I've always been a huge advocate that we need to expose our young people sooner so that they have something to look forward to. Let's be honest, not all kids are going to college. And I think it's important that we make that okay, that if you don't go to college, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of careers, a lot of opportunities at the LISD where kids are being exposed early. They have the opportunity to see different careers and possibilities and to dream and to understand that if you don't go to college, that's okay. So as parents, having the ability to emphasize that, encourage them, build on that so that they know that that's okay. And then how can we expose them to that? And working with Kelly and what she has the ability to do aligns passion for developing talent through Lenawee County, I think is very, very important. And I commend them on the work that they're being doing. But, you know, make it simple in terms of how you can help them identify what it is that they want to do. It does not have to be complicated. Help them identify different careers, limit their expectations, expose them to those things, educate them. And as they grow older, they'll start to eliminate some of those careers. And the goal would be, after they've been exposed to different environments, that they can walk away and truly understand what it is that they want to go into. But being active, not sitting back and waiting, taking the initiative, partnering with Align and connecting those dots are going to be critical. And I think the earlier that we can do this and expose our young people is going to be very, very important to their future, to their growth, and for them to understand true opportunity. And no, again, it's okay. College isn't for everyone. And I know that this is something that is constantly being talked about. And kids need to understand soon and as fast as possible that there are a lot of opportunities and there's steps that can be taken so that you can be exposed. So develop the roadmap, pick out the careers. The foundation is established for those kids. Educate them. What do those careers look like? What does that entail? What does a day-to-day look like for each career? And then expose them. And again, I mentioned Align comes into play when we talk about exposure, opportunities, being able to go on site, and then what type of experience is available for your child so that they can see the back end and be involved in those particular careers that they may be interested in, and then they can make the decision. But we must tap into their passions early and expose them. I can't say that enough. Exposure is critical. And the sooner that we can do it, I think the better off we'll be. Thank you.
Thank you, Taz. If you have any questions for Taz, he's going to be hanging out with us for a little bit. So feel free to put your questions in the chat box, and we'll be asking those questions a little bit later. So I know the weather is poor outside, and poor Ashley lost power, but she's back now. And so we're going to turn it back over to Ashley where she can pick up where she left off.
Yes, thank you. I'm so sorry. We live out in the country and we have had power all day, but of course, right when I started talking, Murphy's Law, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen. Thank you for your patience. I really apologize. All right. So just confirmation, everyone can see my screen, right? We're good to go. Okay. So Back to what, as I was saying, our services are open to everyone. You can come in, you can come to any of our workshops. They're free to everyone. We have virtual and in person. So we are still doing a workshop every day virtually. And then we are starting to bring in those in-person opportunities because we know some people learn better that way. Those workshops are ranging from anything from resume to interviewing skills, career preparation activities. We talk about those A's, right? Accountability, attendance, attitude. We also do job apps, cover letter references. So just lots of good tools and resources to help people in their job search journey. So we do offer also offer career guidance and support to people of all ages. It's not specific to youth. Again, because this is a youth-oriented event, I'm going to talk more in depth about our youth services, but most of the services that we do offer to everyone of all ages. So we have career advisors on staff, and my team specifically are there to help people find work. That looks different for each person. That can be personalized job search assistance, so we can function as a second set of eyes to help people find opportunities that maybe they were missing. Could be work-based learning, some maybe on-the-job paid opportunities. We can even do in-demand higher wage trainings for different occupations. We have lots of funding coming at us from lots of different areas. And so we work with a lot of opportunities to pay for training, healthcare related, CDL related, IT technology. We have so many areas where there's usually some sort of grant that we have that we can utilize to put people in those opportunities to get them on a better career pathway. I popped this slide in here specifically because 47.3% of students in Lenawee County enrolled into post-secondary education within 6 months of graduation. And so this slide for me just kind of reiterates the importance of Michigan Works and Align, and what organizations like ours are doing is what are those other, 50% of students, what are they doing? They're not enrolling in post-secondary graduation. Are they going right into the workforce? Well, we know if you're 18, maybe they've never worked before. What's that going to look like? So I had that slide in there just because that is such a fascinating statistic to me. Lenawee County overall too has 11% dropout rate for high school graduates. So that's important. We do have some services available for those who are in danger maybe of not graduating. We can offer some of those supportive services that maybe some students don't have that are in danger of not graduating. So we'll talk about that for a minute here. Our youth specific services, anything from adult mentoring, career preparation assistance. So what this may look like is we have a kid that comes in, they've graduated, but they just don't know what they want to do. Maybe their parents both work in a factory. They didn't really like school. College isn't necessarily for them, or at least they don't know what they want to do to go to school for. And so this is where our opportunities maybe come in, where we can help them explore what their interests are and connect them to the information that we have as a workforce organization. Okay, well, you're interested in, you like working with people, then maybe these are great avenues for you to explore. Or, okay, you're not a great people person, but you're super good with technology. Here's a list of careers that may be suitable for you. So we're in the business of trying to match these students with what their passion is, because we know as adults, if you go into work that you enjoy, you're going to be happier. We all have to work. We all have bills to pay. It's inevitable. But if we can start these kids off on a track where they are doing something they're interested in, they're going to go further. They're going to have more success in their lifetime because they're happy doing what they're doing. They're going to have more of a passion for it. So work experience opportunities kind of plays into that. So if we have students that come in and they just aren't sure what they like to do, we'll discuss some of their interests, and then we'll maybe hook them up with an employer locally that can teach them some of the skills that they're going to need to be successful, or give them that exposure in that arena. And then they can decide from there. So they're not necessarily getting a job and quitting a job. We're helping connect with them connect them with the employer. The employer is going to get some, I don't want to say free labor out of it, because their portion of it is they're teaching these on the job skills to the youth, but the youth can learn what it's like to do that type of work and decide whether or not that's going to be for them. They're a fully paid employee of Michigan Works Southeast. And so they get to learn things like the importance of turning in a time card on time, making sure that you have clear communication with your supervisor to make sure your schedule is set. All of those types of things that sometimes we take for granted as adults. This youth generation doesn't always work. I know a lot of us maybe worked when we were 16, 17. This younger generation, they don't often work while they're in high school. So we also have this great thing called My Internship Prep. That is something that I would encourage all of your kids, students, youth to come chat with us about, because that is a 4-week course and it's 2 hours a day. The purpose of that is to teach them some of these soft skills that maybe we're missing, but also prep them for what's next. And so what happens is we have a state of Michigan certified teacher on staff, and every day for 2 hours, they go over different elements that are going to help them become employable. They come out in the end with a great portfolio. They'll have a resume, they'll have cover letters. They get exposure to different businesses maybe that they wouldn't have known existed. And so that can also spark some interest in them. And if they're enrolled and eligible for our program, they can actually earn $250 a week for that. And so at the end of the 4 weeks, not only do they come out with all of these great skills and documents ready to go for when they're finding employment, they also get $1,000 out of it. So that's called My Internship Prep. I highly recommend you send people our way. If nothing else, helping them find work, but also preparing them through that program is great. We also are doing great things with apprenticeships at Michigan Works Southeast. We are really diving into that sort of non-traditional opportunity for people instead of college, kind of a college alternative. So we know that school isn't for everyone. And so our apprenticeships work program is working to help us connect with different employers and the people to fill some of these skilled trades jobs that we know the older generation is going to be retiring from. So a great example of this specifically is Climb School. We have been sending some individuals through a grant that we have to Climb School. I think it's 6 weeks in the classroom and then 6 or 8 weeks in the actual Climb School. And what they're doing is learning to climb, to hook up the electric, and then consumers or smaller entities, hopefully, are hiring these kids out of this Climb School. So we have one, for example, who went through it, really liked it, really enjoyed it. They consumers hired him on as an apprentice. And I believe as an apprentice, he's making $32 an hour. And then by the time he's done with his 2 or 3 year apprenticeship, he'll be earning upwards of $40 an hour. And so this was a 12-week training, I think, collectively, that this gentleman did. So there are options. It doesn't, if you want to earn that high income, it doesn't necessarily just have to be college. And so the beauty of it too is no debt. You earn while you learn. And as we know now, kind of as we're going through the student loan situation, that people have some pretty high amounts coming out of it. So I think I'm probably running out of time, but I'm happy to talk more. I could share so many success stories from the people that we have helped over the years. And that geeks me up. I love sharing the stories because that's where most people can relate to. But that's kind of the gist of it. If you want more information, I'm so happy to share. We have a youth career advisor that I'm happy to connect you to. We look forward to being able to help your young adults with their future. It's just so exciting.
Ashley,
it's a great time.
Could you throw your email in the chat for everybody? Is that
can.
okay? Or Don's?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
And I appreciate your time and your patience with my power issue. So
Thank you, Ashley. If you hadn't told that climb school story, I was going to ask you to tell it. So I'm glad that you did.
Yeah. And actually, before I exited, you could see those 4 pictures.
Yeah.
The gentleman in the purple graduation hat is actually the one that is now working for Consumers as an apprentice, a lineman's apprentice, making 32 an hour, 12 weeks.
Amazing.
So, and he
Amazing.
loves it.
Yeah.
And you know, kudos, because on tonight's like tonight, I need people to come hook our power poles back up. So,
That's right.
for him.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate that. And now we can move back to Kelly, who's going to talk about a program that students in the schools have available to them that's extremely helpful when it comes to doing, career exploration and job searching and so forth. So Kelly, I will let you take it away, and you can share your screen as well.
Okay, sounds great. So the program I'm going to show you guys tonight is something that the LASD has actually provided to each of the school districts. It's called Zello. They used to have something, and I'm sure somebody could tell me the name of it. It's something Connections, I think. They had another program, and they found that Zello just provided a little bit more. So I'm just gonna walk through what a student sees. And it's something that your student can log into from home and show you what it looks like on their end. Thank you, Ashley. Career Cruising. I knew it was a C. So now when we went from Career Cruising to Zello. So I am gonna share my screen and take you guys to that. So I'm going to show you what your student sees, an actual student thing. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Zello. It takes them through some different assessments. Matchmaker, it looks at their personality style, it asks a lot of questions on, are they interested in working with children? Do they like working on the computer? I believe for that one, there's about 39 questions that it goes through and asks, but it also looks at their learning style, different things. And then what it does is it puts together, based on how they answered all of these questions, these different careers that are good matches for them. And it goes through and tells you, and I'm going to show you because this is my student one. So I've gone through and played with it and answered questions in different ways. I went through it again today and answered it different than what I had prior, just to see what type of things I would get by answering it almost opposite of what I had originally done. So what it came up with for me, I'm gonna move you guys over just a little. Okay. So I'm looking at careers. So the ones it's showing me right now, so right now I'm looking at it in alphabetical. You can see that it has the G, it just means good match. So if I wanted to be an accountant, I can click on accountant and it's going to show me, again, telling me it's a good match. It's giving me an idea of the income. It will tell me all about the job, a nice job description. It will tell me what career cluster it falls into, which the state has listed out 16 different career clusters. Zello even offers students the ability to get to read and listen to an interview that was done by a person in that career, where they talk about what the day in their job looks like and what that education was like trying to get to that position. And it even talks a little bit about what their tasks look like. It takes you all the way through, explains to you a little bit about how you answered things that fit with this exact career. Tells you a little bit about the working conditions for that, more about the earnings, and then you can actually look up the earnings for different states. So because we're Michigan, it automatically defaults to Michigan, but you could look it up for any of the states. And then it goes through an actual career path. So you can your child can look at almost any type of job and be able to see all of this information. So if they were to just get a bachelor's degree for an accountant, that's about the estimate of the money that they would be making. And then it kind of goes through and tells you how to further your education. But it goes a step further and talks a little bit about the actual education and training. And it gives you options of majors. So if I wanted to be an accountant, just take an accounting degree, I'm going to click on accounting, and it's going to tell me a little bit more about what that degree would look like, what I would need to be doing, and then typical courses. But it actually tells me what schools it can look at just Michigan, or I can look at other states. We're going to look at Michigan because that's where we are. But it will list for you any of the colleges that have either a certificate program for that, your associate's degree, bachelor's, or graduate. What is amazing to me, though, is what they have put together in regards to all of these colleges and universities. So we're pretty familiar with Adrian College, so I'm going to look at that one real quick. It actually shows you a lot about the campus, and it goes through and it actually talks about the tuition and fees, number of students, that acceptance rates, and you can read a little bit more just about the college itself. But kids can actually see the application deadlines. They can see what their other majors are that seem to be very popular at the school, and it even tells you like how many graduates. So for their criminal justice, they have about 14 graduates a year with that degree. So it just gives you a lot of information there. Tells you a little bit about the student body. And working my way through more about campus life, the activities, clubs. So if a kid's thinking they don't want to be in Michigan and they're like, nope, I want to skip Michigan. I decided this accounting thing is not for me. So I'm just going to go back, and that kid might pick a different degree or a different career. And maybe they're picking something because they can look at it and go, well, I didn't like any of the options Zello told me about based on how I answered questions. So I want to base it on, I want to make at minimum, let's say 50 grand. And maybe I only want to go for a 2-year degree. So I'm going to take out the 4-year, and I'm going to just let the high school one stay there as well. And it filters it for me, and it provides me options for jobs that way. So I've already said, nope, I'm not into going for a 4-year degree. And it begins to give me jobs. And the E was that excellent. So that's the highest rating a job will show up for you. And it goes all the way down to telling you that it's not a good fit for you. And then it will explain to you why it wasn't a good fit based on how you answered those questions. So this program, again, was paid for by the ISD for all of the districts to be able to use. And they have been such a blessing for the districts because they also have 2 different staff members that they send out to the schools to help the counselors know how to use it, but also they go to the schools and meet with the students and help them with their plans and help them go through this every year. So that's for 9th through 12th grade. They go through it every year with the students. And you would have to ask your guidance counselor or the ISD who is the person that comes out for your school, but it would either be Katie Cole or Kim Dusso. And so they work with the kids a lot on Zello. So I would highly recommend that you talk to your kid and just kind of ask them what Zello is telling them. And I will tell you, I have a junior right now in high school, and I was continuously asking her what is your Zello telling you? And all I was getting from her, and Sheila, I haven't updated you on this. It's pretty exciting because all I was getting from her at first was something, she completed Zello, and one of the options was a circus performer. And all I would hear from her was how Zello said I could be a circus performer, and she thought it was so funny. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that is kind of funny because of course she doesn't want to be a circus performer, but she wasn't focusing on any of the other careers that it matched her with. So I encouraged her a little bit because I knew about Zello. I was able to say, hey, Emma, why don't you check out some of the other jobs that it says you're an excellent match for? And here we are, probably a month after that last conversation. And she's come home and said she knows what she wants to do. She researched those other matches. She played a little bit more on Zello, and she found the art music therapist position something that she wants to look for. So she's been able to look at it and look at different colleges that she can go to. So it's just offered her that. So I would encourage all the parents on here to take advantage of what's being offered by the ISD at your district, and talk to your kid and see if you can get them to log on and actually show you what theirs looks like and what careers show up for them, and what kind of path they might be able to have from that. Sheila, that's all I've got on it right now.
Thank you. And after they go through it with you, if there's something that they're interested in taking the next step on, they would like a tour, maybe a meeting with an employer, even just to have a conversation with somebody in that role, that's where Kelly comes in, and Kelly works with your school's counselor. So even if you go through the counselor, that counselor will, if they don't have their own contacts, they'll reach out to Kelly as well. So
Absolutely.
we try to work hand in hand with them on getting these things in place. So thank you very much, Kelly. And if you have any questions, again, for anything that we're going over, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box, because we will be having a Q&A in just a few minutes. One last thing that I wanted to go over with everyone is some resources that we have available for you. So I'm going to share my screen a little bit. Some of the resources that I'm referring to are, videos that we have teaching your child about professional etiquette, how to build resumes, cover letters, references, interviewing skills, what is appropriate interview attire. And these are all the things too that the counselors and Kelly will be working with students on who want help with it prior to the job fair, which again is in a month. So we want to make sure that they're coming on that day, March 22nd. They're coming to school ready to interview with people, because again, we have 75 employers coming, that they have at least 10 copies of their resume with them, if not more, that when they send out information, and it's funny because not only do we help with that, your school counselor helps with that. Ashley at Michigan Works, they have, some services along that line as well. So, but to keep going, ability to network. How do you network? How do you deal with stress? Videos about tuition reimbursement, STEM videos for women, empowering girls to go into STEM fields, and then also local employer profiles and industry profiles. So all of these are available through the Lenawee Now. We are, Align is a part of Lenawee Now, which is the local economic development organization. So these are available through the Lenawee Now YouTube channel, which I'm going to share with you in just a second. In fact, I'm going to add this to the chat box. So I'm going to stop sharing so that I can go to the YouTube channel and actually show that to you. There's a couple videos, or at least one, that I'd like to play for you. Something that we're trying to get out to parents. So this is the YouTube channel, and I'm going to grab this link here and I'll put it in the chat box. That way everybody can see it. And feel free to bookmark that if you want to, but if you go to the videos tab right here, you'll see all the different videos that we have. I'm going to scroll down way to the bottom. Just keeps going and going. So there are some things on here about economic development, which is Lenawee Now's main mission. But Align is under that Lenawee Now umbrella, and we've got information on here too. Preparing for a job interview. These are just helpful videos, but also this is what Kelly can do with your student in person. Phone, email, video etiquette, creating references, writing a cover letter, creating your resume. How about social media and your digital footprint? When employers are, trying to, hire you, this is an area that they're looking at now. So one of the seminars that we're going to have at the job fair, the Career Connections, is going to be talking about social media And if an employer looks at your social media, are they going to want to hire you? So making your kids and the students aware of, what they're putting out there could look badly on, to an employer. Learning how to network. What happens when you're being recruited? What do you do? Dressing for success, managing stress. But we also have career specific information on here as well. Let's go to that. These are some local employer profiles. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about particular employers, we've got several of these. This is Euclid Health and Nutrition. This is ProMedica. There's others on here as well. We've got Clift Buick GMC. And we've also got information about different industries in Lenawee County, like the chemical industry. When some parents hear about, the chemical industry and they think, oh, I don't want my child working in the chemical industry. And they imagine this big open vat of acid and their child is going to fall in the acid and come out as, the Joker from Batman. That's not the way it is anymore. I've actually been in some of the chemical factories, and it's actually very clean and very safe, and it's not maybe the way it was, 50 years ago. So we have all kinds of videos that talk about the chemical industry, because that was we actually received a grant to promote the industry. We have 6 chemical employers here in Lenawee County, which just seems to be a lot for one county, but so we received a grant to do some of these things. There's also Women in Chemistry. So this is like a STEM video talking about, are you aware that there's so many opportunities for women in the chemical industry here in Lenawee County? Here's one for hospitality. So we're covering everything in this video, from restaurants to wineries to hotels. This is the hospitality industry in Lenawee County, and how you can go from a very entry-level job to a very high-level job within that same industry, not necessarily with having a degree. So there's lots of opportunities for upward mobility. One of the videos that I did want to share with you was about tuition reimbursement. So your child may want to go to college, but maybe funding college is not, easy for them right now, or you. And so there's a lot of employers in Lenawee County that actually offer tuition reimbursement. So instead of going directly into college, they can go into the workforce and work for one of these organizations. And then once they're there, potentially, you'd have to talk and make sure that your goals align with the organization, but potentially they could pay for your student to go to college. And so I just wanted to share, some of these opportunities with you. I'd like to play this video for all of you.
Y'all, Wayfair has just what you need.
And of course, we have commercials.
Kelly Clarkson.
Are you worried about being able to afford continuing your education after you finish high school? Are you worried about taking on too much student loan debt? Would you like to earn while you learn? If your answer is yes, then I'd like to tell you about a way for you to continue your education while gaining some work experience. The solution is an employee benefit that some companies offer: tuition reimbursement. Tuition reimbursement works like this. You work for a company that offers the program, and you also take college classes that relate to that industry. Once you've successfully completed the classes, the company will then reimburse you for some or all of your tuition costs, which makes your education much more affordable. Each employer puts their own twist on the program, but it's a win for them too. Investing in their employees makes sense because they gain new skills that will be beneficial for the company. Now, don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from some people who've been actively involved in a real-life tuition reimbursement program.
My name is Nicole Willard. I'm the HR manager at Adrian Plastic Omnium. I'm fortunate enough to be the lead of the training program as well as the employee engagement. A lot of people think actually once you graduate from high school, you're a senior, you're supposed to go to college. A lot of people don't know where am I going to get that money to be able to provide for myself and go to college. This is that option. So it's a great opportunity if you don't know what your next steps are. Don't waste the money, figure out who you are, and then go from there.
Hi, I'm Jeff Docking, president of Adrian College. Tuition reimbursement is an opportunity for people to maximize their own skills, know the true extent of their potential, and to use education to arrive at just a better place in life, which is to say it makes a lot of sense at times to get a job, get into a work environment, find out what skills are needed that perhaps you don't have, and then to use education to gain those skills to progress both in the field that you're in or maybe other fields that you want to go into. What's my passion? What do I love to do? And then how do I get paid for that?
Hi, my name is Daniel Myers, and I am a cost analyst at Plastic Omnium. We've got a great program, tuition reimbursement program here, and I really wanted to further my education and try and become a bigger asset to the company, be able to grow as an individual. And so far, it's been a great experience. I've been doing it now for 2 years and have about 3 or 4 more classes left. So it's really been an awesome thing to be able to continue my learning, also working a full-time job. So it's been an awesome opportunity for me.
My name is Lillian Bruckman, and I am the Human Resources Representative for Adrian Plastic Omnium. I can say personally I'm getting my master's from Michigan State University in the fall. I'm starting. It means a lot because they're basically paying for my entire education. I know for myself it was definitely an incentive because I knew I wanted to get my master's. But I'd say, if you have any financial restrictions, finding a job first that offers a program like this will definitely make your transition into earning a degree much simpler.
It's time to earn while you learn. Consider working for one of our outstanding local companies who offer tuition reimbursement. This is an exciting opportunity to explore your career options, earn a degree with little or no debt, and gain some great real-world experience along the way. Visit alignlenaway.org for our tuition reimbursement resource guide and more information on how to apply for positions with these companies.
All
Did you
right,
know you can make animated explainer
I'll
ads?
pause that. So let me make sure I'm unmuted. So yes, that was just one of the videos on here that we're trying to get in the hands of parents. We want to make sure that parents are aware of some of these opportunities, and of course the students as well. One of the things that we've done is created this video. This is one of our latest video, and it's about the benefits of early career exposure, which Taz talked about earlier. And that, we developed this because of a grant that we received. It's called the Marshall Plan Grant, and it gave us a lot of great opportunities to develop curriculum for middle school level kids to get some of that career exposure. So we created curriculum for a variety of healthcare fields. There's some generic ones, but then they go into specific. Do you want to be a phlebotomist? Do you want to be EKG? Things like that. We also did early childhood education. We've done accounting, cybersecurity, digital marketing, project management, future teachers, entrepreneurship, in case students want to own their own business someday. And these are all things that would be done in the classroom at a summer camp too, in the middle school level, so that by the time a student gets to 8th grade, when they're starting to choose their own classes in their path in high school, they have actually had all of that exposure already. It helps, the wheels start turning about, okay, what is my path through high school so that I can, get into that field. And on this video is an expert talking about how the mind develops because of that early exposure, what the student's mind starts to do as far as development and thinking about their future and their careers. So this is all available through our YouTube channel. I wanted to provide that as a resource to you all. And now we're at the point where I want to see if anybody has any questions, and you can do that multiple ways. We have had some questions coming in the chat, and we've been answering them to those particular people. But if you have any questions that haven't been answered, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or just put it in the chat box. And while we're waiting for any of those to come in, is there anything else that one of our presenters wanted to say?
Sheila, if I may,
Yes.
you know, the one word that has been used consistently is exposure. Ashley shared the story about the young man who is now making $30+ an hour. The exposure allows the kids to dream and see true possibilities, right? I don't know where their young man would have been had he not been exposed to that environment, right? And I think it's important to really just take a step back and say, what is their level of exposure? And understand that some of these middle school kids that may not have anything to look forward to when they get to high school, and they have been exposed to different opportunities, they're allowed to dream. So truly understand the impact of what the exposure can do. That's the word that has been communicated the most throughout this entire session here, is exposure. The sooner that we can expose our young people to opportunities, they can dream and they can see true possibilities. It's really that simple. And make it okay that college is not for everyone. It is okay. And it doesn't matter where you went to school, doesn't matter what the family has went to school, and if everyone went to college, it's okay for your kid not to go to college.
Absolutely. And especially, I mean, if you know anything about the current workforce, the demand is not for college workers right now or college graduates. It's for apprenticeship, skilled trades, you know, all the things that you get without going to college. Now, one thing that I can recommend now, if I had to do it over again, and if I was living in a different time when I was graduating high school, I would certainly take advantage of this. There are so many opportunities to go directly into the workforce, making a really good wage right now. And also, then expand. You know, once you're in the workforce, you actually get a feel for things. You know where you want to go from there. You might then go finish your degree in the evenings, or, you know, whatever that looks like for you. Because
Sheila, can I add to that?
Yeah,
really
yes,
quick?
please.
You know, my girls are 8 years apart. So I mentioned earlier I had a junior. I also have a daughter who's almost 25. And when she was graduating high school, we, you know, at that time, we were those firm believers that you've got to go to college, you've got to go to college. But we sent her to Western for a year. She did great. She was on the dean's list, but chose not to go back. And I was trying not to panic as that parent. And I didn't, and we supported. She got a full-time job teaching preschool. And my fear for her was, that's not a living wage. You know what I mean? Working at a daycare is not a living wage. And she stayed there for 4 years. And now she's working at Ivy Rehab, and will be going back to college in the fall. She knows exactly what she wants to do. She knows her path. She just needed that time and a little more exposure in the workforce and seeing what was best for her. So even if you have a kid that doesn't go right away, like Sheila was saying, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be going later. They just need to know a little bit more about themselves and about what they want to do. So as hard as that was that first year, I really think she's found her path, and I'm super happy for her. And it benefits her even more now because she has an employer who wants to help her with her schooling, and she's old enough, she doesn't have to put us on her FAFSA. So another benefit is as well for her waiting.
Well, and just some statistics in Lenawee County, for every 20 kids that go to college, 7 of them finish. That's 13 kids coming back saying, hey, I failed. What do I do now? And you have all these other statistics that talk about people who went to college and finished and did not find a job in or are not doing a job in that career path that they graduated in the field. Same for me. I put all that money and effort into getting a certain degree, and I went a completely different direction once I grew up a little bit. I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And so I think that's pretty normal. People changing their minds over time. They grow up a little bit and so forth. But I promised you guys an hour. I wanted to leave you with all the contact information for the speakers today. And of course, the LASD, who's a partner. And so that's there at your disposal. Again, we're recording this, so we'll be putting this out on YouTube. I'll make sure that everybody who registered for today will get the link, and then we'll also start marketing it to all the parents, because we want the parents to help get their student ready for March 22nd for the job fair. So we didn't get any other questions, so I really appreciate everybody being here.
I just have Sheila,
yes, go
real
ahead.
quick. Someone had asked about is there an opportunity over the summer for their child to shadow different opportunities? I would encourage you, and you could come with your youth, send them to Michigan Works or come in with them. Our paid work experience, that's exactly what that is. So what we can do is find a couple of interests that they may have. Maybe we do 8 weeks shadowing one type of job and 8 weeks shadowing another, and we can pay them. As long, we just have to figure out a way for them to get into our program. But for the most part, we can find a lot of people eligible. So definitely an option. I would encourage people just to come in and talk to us. We take it, everyone's an individual basis. So we come in and we just listen to people's stories and we go from there. We don't have a script that we stick to. So I would encourage them, just come in with them or send them our way, and we'd love to just chat and get to know them and see how we can help.
Thank you very much. Is anybody else have any questions or wanted to say anything before we leave? All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. And hopefully this won't be the last time that we do an event like this with parents. So we hope to see you very soon.
Thanks, everyone.